Hi guys. I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Thaís Christine. Um, and I just wanted to make this video to share my story with you guys, like what singing means to me and a little bit of my biography. Um, Something that's not curated, because I feel like in this kind of industry, there's a lot of fakeness, but I wouldn't blame that on the artist. I think that somehow we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. So I wanted to just tell you guys as much as I can about my own story so that hopefully I can inspire somebody, because I felt a certain way about singing, and a lot of times I didn't really feel like I could actually sing. And I feel like being an artist is very hard, and I just wanted to share a little bit about the things that I've learned in my life. And I also wanted somebody to feel like if you feel like you can't make art, that it's possible to make art and that you don't need to be any type of person, somebody like from privilege, to make art, because art is about self-expression, and also every soul is important. So if you feel the need in your heart to create, then go for it. So I'll start by telling you guys my story. And also I would like to say that I have this project that I would like to help an independent singer create and record their first song. But we're gonna get into it. Like, as I've said, I'm just speaking from the heart. This video was just unprompted, so don't expect it to be perfectly curated. All right, so I've always been a singer. I think that my earliest memories started from when I was like 5 years old. My mom would take me to the beauty salon and I would sing. I would sing at church, and I've always felt like that was my destiny. And in a way, it was, but as a child, I thought that it would be way more magical or extraordinary than it actually was. But I think this is also part of my healing, and maybe that's something that other singers and other artists could also relate to, because I feel like sometimes we're very attracted to the social status of singing because that's also what society rewards. But it's like you can sing right now wherever you are. Like, you don't need fame, you don't need success, you don't need nepotism. If you're a singer, you sing. That's all there is to it. And when you don't understand that, you suffer so much because you feel like that's a dream that could never come true, and you feel like that's just something that's never going to happen in your life. And then it feels extremely bad. It can lead to depression, it can lead to many horrible things, it can lead into a feeling of social isolation. And I don't know the statistics here, but I've read some stuff that said that artists actually deal with a lot of mental health problems. And I think we're talking about independent artists. I think also like mainstream artists, but I think that there is a lot of social rejection from being an artist that is not mainstream. And I think that people should take that into consideration. Okay, so I've always sung since I was 5. And I remember that when I was 5 years old, obviously I didn't have that much technique, but I sung from the heart, and I felt like it truly came from my soul. And then I always liked writing songs. Some friends, they would come to my home and I would be like, let's write a song together. So that's something that was always there in my life. Then when I was 11 years old, I started a band with a friend of mine, actually 2 friends of mine, but eventually it was just a duet. And she could play the guitar. She could also speak English very well. And we just started singing because we were friends. She was my best friend. And I remember that at that point, I started to feel a little bit insecure. Like I said, like how my voice came from the soul when I was a child. I felt like as I grew older, I was like 11 years old, 11, 12. Then I started to compare myself to like the mainstream singers. I really loved Mexican singers. And also I compare myself to my friend. And I just started to kind of lose my own voice because I started to try to sound a certain way, which is something that a lot of people go through as well. That's absolutely normal. And then maybe my parents shouldn't have let me use the internet so much, but I posted some videos and some songs of my band. We went on local TV, we went on the radio. And then a producer from a very famous band at the time liked the song and said that he wanted to basically give us a record deal and we needed to move to LA. I'm not going to say names, okay? But obviously, you know, like when you're 11, and especially at the time when social media wasn't that huge, I felt like, oh my God, I was the chosen one. Basically, I felt like, you know, the thing I told you that a lot of the times I feel like singers just want to be mainstream singers. I felt like, oh my God, that's my chance. Like, I've won the lottery of life. And then my friend, she said that she didn't want to continue singing with me. And I felt a deep depression over that. And also, that's when my parents were getting a divorce. And there was a lot of mental health problems happening in my life, not just with me, but also with the people around me. And at the time, also, I think because social media wasn't so huge, people didn't understand those things so much. And I'm just telling you guys because I feel like those are the things that really affected my music in a good way. And yeah, like it's all part of self-acceptance, right? Because if you don't accept yourself, then what's the point? But basically what I'm trying to say is I dealt with really, really extremely hard stuff. And then I tried to move, but I had some bureaucracy problems. And then eventually I was able to move, okay? Eventually it just happened. Like my dad talked to a friend and we found a way. So I moved to America by myself. And then I met the producer and he was like, okay, but why do you want to be a singer? Like, I don't get it. I mean, but I must confess, like he let me on for a long time, which I don't think was fair because he was the adult, right? I was like 15 when I actually managed to move to America. And I was like, I don't know, like I've been trying to do it for so long. I feel like I need to do it. And he wasn't convinced. But I mean, I think that he just wasn't that interested. I think that he wanted me to sing with my friend and then it didn't work out. And then he was kind of like not sure about me. He was just leading me on. That was my first disappointment, very similar to a romantic betrayal in a way that like it made me kind of like chase after him a little bit. It made me feel unworthy. That's very similar to some of the things that I've experienced later on in life in a romantic context. And then I found another guy, another producer, and he was like kind of abusive, I would say. The way that like he would make me angry because he thought that I would sing better. And he had a song that basically was making fun of girls, but he thought it was self-empowerment. And he wanted me to sing that song, and I couldn't really do it because I was just completely lost as a teenager, okay? So I could kind of sing it, but I could not. And I think that it was also because I couldn't relate to the song. So I was panicking, and then I went back to Brazil. Also, when I was in LA, I met my first boyfriend. And I think that he was the part of my life that kind of like, well, he was very significant in a way because I started traveling so much because of him, and I'm still abroad, and I feel like that really shaped my identity. And it all has to do with your attachment style and your wounds. I feel like I've learned a lot of things. And I feel like music is very important because of my childhood. I feel like I have certain wounds, and then sometimes I feel unheard. But when I write, then I feel like I can actually express my emotions. And expressing your emotions is something beautiful. And in my opinion, that's how people actually connect through art. And I'm trying to share this with you guys so people feel more self-esteem, because everybody's like, I've been called a failed singer, okay? People are like, oh, you're not this or that. And then they make you feel really bad. But there is a spiritual reason why you have this gift. And you're not better than anybody else because you have this gift. But what I'm trying to say is there is an importance to being able to express yourself in such a way, because even if you don't write music, you still listen to music, you feel something. So it's a very profound spiritual connection, and I would like you to feel more proud of it. I would like you to try to share it, because there's always somebody that needs your music. You know, like this dream wouldn't be inside of you if it wasn't for something. But the thing is, we think that we need to be famous. And I don't know if I already said it, but I had this insight. Like when I was a teenager or like a child, I don't remember the exact age. They're kind of synonyms anyway. I liked the Mexican singers. And then like when I was a little bit older, I remember like Disney was very huge. There was High School Musical, there was Hannah Montana. And I remember that I liked Hannah Montana, but at the same time, it felt kind of weird because I kind of compare myself to Miley Cyrus. But I mean, obviously, like she was born in a completely different situation. But I felt like, how come everybody acts as if she's like so great, and she is great? And like people don't like understand that I'm also good. So that's kind of how I felt. And people still feel that way. Like I felt that way about myself, but now people try to project the same insecurity onto me. They're like, I've been told that I'm not good enough, that I'm a failed singer, that I'm stupid. Like those things were said to my face. And it's like, I wouldn't say I'm a failed singer. I would say that I'm just not from the social circle that people say, okay, now you can sing, you can shine. So basically, when people admire famous singers, they're not necessarily admiring their music, their talent, they're admiring their social status. It's the social status that like makes people think, no, actually it's okay, you can sing, and people can see the beauty. But it doesn't mean that normal people don't have that beauty. It just means the society doesn't validate you because it's about status. But it's so crazy. Like, am I supposed to feel bad because I wasn't born in Los Angeles for the rest of my life? I can still sing. So that was my conclusion. Singing is okay, but you must sing within the reality that you're in, and then hopefully you can ascend. But what I mean is, like, you don't need to be from a certain country or from a certain social class to be able to sing. You sing because you have it in you, and everybody's equally worthy. So really, just sing. And I really do believe in creativity, and I believe in the spirituality of singing. I think that we're so used to pop music, and pop music is great, don't get me wrong, but like it's basically a formula, right? Like you don't need to always be like inside the formula. Like you can just sing. Technically, you don't even need to be on tune. You don't need to be good. You just need to express yourself. You just need to let your soul speak. Everybody has a soul, and everybody's soul is equally worthy of expression. So I don't know. I thought that those things were important to share. And then when I was in China, oh yeah, I moved to China. I was working as an English, I was working as an English teacher, but also a manager. Like I had many different roles when I was in China. Like I was basically working in education. I got very good at my job. I ascended. I mean, after getting exploited for a long time. And then I was just like, yeah, like I was singing a lot in China. Like I had this friend, I'm not saying names, right? But if you search my story, you're gonna find out. So we would sing, we would go to like clubs. My life was so social. Like it was amazing. Like that part of my life was really good. And also my producers really validated me, the producers in China. They said that I was one of the best artists, you know, and obviously you don't let this stuff get to your head, but they told me those things. And then at some point, I was going through some romantic disappointments. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the singing thing seriously. And then I started talking to some people from England, and they were like, you're very good, kind of like in a dismissive way, but the production is not good enough. Like, you should come to England. So basically, like, we agreed that we would like make a like an EP or something like that. But like, obviously it was very expensive because of the currency. But like I said, I was making enough money from my job. So I said, okay, let's do it. um and then obviously it was very difficult for me like to manage it, but I did. And then I went to England, I recorded the EP, the songs were spectacular. Like, they were really, really good. And then like as soon as I went back to China, there was COVID. And then basically like my EP didn't happen. I lost my job. I needed to go back to my family. Like, I lost everything and I was extremely sabotaged. And I think the sabotage happened because I didn't, well, first of all, COVID happened. But I also think that it's because of that thing that I was trying to tell you guys, that it's really important that you accept your reality. I don't think it was a good decision for me to include people from England into my dream when I was perfectly fine doing it in China. As soon as I did that, it's kind of like I broke some sort of social contract, and then my job got extremely miserable, and then people started to attack me, all sorts of people. And spiritual protection is very important. That's something that I'm starting to think about more now. But I also think that there are certain patterns in society that like you need to watch out for. So I went through a lot of pain again. A lot of things went wrong. I would say that everything went wrong in my life. And I mean, it's okay for things to go wrong, but the problem is society really shames you like when something goes wrong, right? So everybody was acting as if like I was a failure, like there was proof that I was absolutely dumb. Just think of like all sorts of like poisonous words that somebody could hear. Like, I've heard them all. But then eventually I moved abroad again. I found love. I found somebody that is really like, I can't even explain. Like, I'm not going to say the word that I'm thinking about because I don't want to just put it out, but he really helped me and I'm absolutely grateful for him. And now everything is okay in my life, but I still have to like, because things are okay, I have to deal with some of like the wounds that I had before. And I feel like I'm really like paying attention to things, so that that's why I'm trying to share this a little bit. And now I make music again. And as I've said before, like, this is part of my actual reality. So I go to a music studio here in Bern. As I've said, like, if you check out my information, you can find out names. And like, I didn't sign a contract that promises PR. I didn't sign a contract that tells me that I need to pay for this and this and that. It's very straightforward and very fair on both ends. And nobody's saying you're going to be a pop star, you're going to be a superstar. Nobody's like giving me that role. So, and the expectation. So basically, I just go whenever I want. I write my songs, and the producers are amazing, and they record. I mean, one second. I mean, like, they really like, they play from the heart, and I think they're really values with my artistic, like, values. I mean, some people really like value technique, and that's okay. But for me, it's about self-expression. It's about creativity. It's about authenticity. So I feel like I really have that with them, and I feel extremely lucky. And it's like luck that doesn't feel like luck. It just feels like reality. It just feels like normal life. And I think that's what's actually amazing. Like, we're so afraid of like accepting that we're normal. But look, being a human being is actually really hard. So we're all already doing this game, right? We're playing this game. And you happen to also have the ability to make art. Isn't that beautiful? There's nothing shameful about that. So I found true satisfaction with the studio. And I just wanted to like share this with you guys. That's what I was thinking. So when it comes to like my emotional development and healing, people said that it's very important to dedicate yourself to a cause that really matters to you. And I was thinking, what cause do I relate to? What cause matters the most to me? And I would say singing. And people are like, oh my God, you're such an idiot. No. And that's what I'm trying to say, because when you're an artist, but you're not a mainstream artist, but come on, when you're a mainstream artist, there are different types of pain. They're also valid. But like when you're just like an independent artist, when you're not accepted by society, that brings so much pain. And I was thinking I would like to help somebody like that, because I was the girl that didn't have anybody. I was the girl that was laughed at. I was the girl that people were trying to, like, they were trying to assign me the role of either the failed singer or the girl that's going to succeed so much and then everybody's going to love me. But if I believe that, then it also makes me feel like my life is incomplete if I don't get to the stage. So all those roles that people were projecting onto me, they were never really healthy. But what I'm trying to say is your talent speaks louder than all the roles, and you can actually write about the way you feel when people project onto you. So I was thinking, because as I was like when I was a child or a teenager, I felt like I couldn't sing. I felt like I was cursed by the universe, that I could never do it. I know that there's somebody out there that feels the same way. Somebody that feels belittled for something that's so beautiful and so spiritual. So what I wanted to say is, I have this technique, and I'm not saying, hey, I'm the angel that's gonna happen, that's gonna help your life, because it's not life, right? I'm just a girl that sees where you're coming from, and I could help you as well if you're interested. I would like you to have a look at my channel slowly, and you can find one of my original songs that you resonate with the most, and I would like you to make a cover. I have some instrumental files, so not for all the songs, but for some of them. So if you need one, I can send it to you. Or you could try to find somebody to play an instrument for you, or you could play yourself. That part is your part of the deal, okay? I would like you to make a cover of one of my songs, and I would also like you to explain why this song means so much to you and how you relate to it. And then I'm going to choose the artist that I resonate with the most. Feel free to also tell me your story. And that's important. You also need to live in Bern, Switzerland. I would like you to, like basically do like some either Zoom calls with me or in-person calls with me. And I would like you to go to the studio and record your first song. So it's very important that it's your first song. And I will pay for this first song, because my intention is to make you feel like things are possible, because they are. I would also like you to believe in the power of your own music, and I would like you to be the stepping stone so that you could actually have a music career and like express yourself as much as possible. But I mean, I'll just help you with the first song, okay? Like, I'm not gonna help you with like more than that. But I would like this to be a recurring thing, like every year, like we could try to do something similar, because I don't want anybody to feel like you have one chance and that's it, because that's not true. You have many chances to express yourself, and maybe I'm going to resonate with somebody more the first time, and then maybe that's going to change, That's just how it goes. But I just felt like it would be important. And I would like you to write your own song, because it's about your own story. Like, if you do get this prize, obviously. But I can also give you some tips when it comes to songwriting, like production. I can like go to the studio to help you through the process, and I can just be like a helping hand. That's what I would like to do, because I think it would also be very important for my personal trajectory to be able to like get better as a songwriter and also as a producer, and also to feel like I can find a group of people that resonate with me. Because as I've said, guys, competition, I mean, I didn't say that, but like competition is kind of stupid. So I feel like if we build like a sense of community, then everybody's mental health is going to be happy about that. So that's it. And if you decide to share, please make sure to just like credit my music. I'm gonna like make like I'm gonna like make some specific guidelines for this. It's not really a contest. It's just me trying to help out person to person, human being to human being. No pretentiousness, because as I've said, the thing that gives me the most happiness about my project is that it's not pretentious. It's real. It's normal. And there's nothing wrong with being normal. Maybe that's a topic for another video, talking about my achievements and how I feel about my achievements. But I'll just tell you guys one thing. Achievements only feel good when you have a sense of community. And I feel like my community is kind of lacking. So at this point in my life, it's hard for me to be like, wow, I'm so proud and so happy, because I don't think that's energetically true, but I think I'm getting there. And I think that this video is a huge part of it. So yeah, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that I had some things to share. I'm not going to apologize because this was very, very raw, because I think that's what the world needs. So yeah, thank you guys. My Buddha is saying goodbye. I'm just joking. I just looked at it. I was like, this needs to be in the video. So yeah, whoever needed to hear this, the energy that I'm trying to talk to, just know that you're loved and that you need to be here and that you matter and that your art is a deeply, deeply spiritual and important thing. Okay? Bye-bye. Thank you.